We're very excited to be sponsored by Equifuse, the website equifuse.ca. I find that over the months that I've switched to Equifuse, I've really used less and less products. We want these horses to look amazing. Their hair coats have to look shiny. We don't put that much time and energy and work into these show horses and then go out and have them look mediocre or subpar. I'm very excited to bring to you the Citra Cream. This month of July, we do have a promotion. Condition 10 is the promo code, so there'll be a link in the description. You can click on that. We can make sure that you get to the website equifuse.ca, and our horses look amazing, and we're really thankful for that. We're back, guys. I'm excited to be here. We've been through that Learn to Ride a Reiner series. I mean, I'm thankful we're finished with it. No, I didn't say that out loud, did I? No, come on. I just fired Amanda, so I'm looking for a new YouTube star if you guys know anybody. She's out, and we've got a whole waiting for somebody else. Oh, she's going to throw me under the bus if I actually put that in there. Oh, that'll be good. We're back. This is a training tips video, back on that series. This is a video on the spin. And I think it might become a series because I feel like the lead change, I think the turnaround gets misunderstood a lot. It's easy to just go out there and chase one around or chase on it harder or try to pull its nose around and make it turn around by pulling on the reins or kicking it more on the outside. I think there's a lot of physics and mechanics that get forgotten or just not real well understood. And I'm sure not an expert in it, although I'm going to stand here and pretend I am. And I just break it down all the time, smaller and smaller pieces, and try to really understand the basic process of what that horse is going through. And so I would say in the turnaround, there's an economy of motion where there's only 2 steps in the front, and you have to make the best 2 steps that you can make. And secondly, if you go into the turn from a standstill and you motivate that horse with your spur or you chase on him, you can imagine in his mind that actually standing still just before the turn was a lot better life for him than you kicking and pulling and spurring on him to make him turn. And so what happens then routinely on these older horses, and Amigo here, he's a good kid's horse. He knows the gig, and he sure can do it when you ask him, strongly enough. But what happens is they sort of be like, well, the turn's not that much fun. It's actually harder than standing still. So they'll start to get slower and more sluggish, and you have to kick on them harder or chase on them more. And what I'd like to do is build an exercise where everything around the spin is more work than the turn itself. And where that horse actually starts to hunt that maneuver or hunt that turn, they start to get thankful that you allow them to turn rather than getting cranky or cynical or difficult because you make them turn. So what we're going to do is an exercise that will help us create more try from the horse in the turnaround, a more desire to turn, rather than me having to always up his motivation with my spur or with my hands trying to make those feet move. So this exercise is going to be similar. It's actually the exercise that we used in one of the episodes of the Ride a Reiner series, and I just never got the chance to break it down and talk to you guys and show you here and do it myself. And so I've gotten a lot of background on, when are you going to do a spin video? Let's see a spin video. We're going to start here with a finished horse, and I'm going to lope off on a circle. Doesn't matter what direction, we're going to lope off on the circle. In this case, I think I'm going to go to the right because Amigo's a little tougher, a little stickier to the right. I'm going to lope off to the right, 2 or 3 large circles. We're going to chase him around, and then we're going to spiral him down to the right. And we're going to use all that energy and momentum from the lope, and we're going to draw him around. We're going to start to take our hands around here to the right. We're going to draw him around. Now, he's got to come off the outside rein and the outside leg. I need to be able to touch the outside of his face and drive his rib cage in with my outside leg and put that energy in until he breaks loose and offers to turn to the right. And at that point, we're going to let him turn. We're going to see if he can keep turning or if he's just going to quit when I quit pushing on him. And we'd like to develop his willingness to turn around on his own with legs off. Maybe I cluck to him or maybe I just move my hand a little bit to make him turn. As he turns, when he quits, I'm going to roll him back the opposite direction and I'm going to go out on the circle the opposite way. So in this case, we're going to start to the right. I'm going to turn him around to the right. When he quits turning to the right, I'm going to do whatever it takes to roll back out of there and get onto a left circle, and I'm going to send him to the left, and we're going to go turn left. When we stop him to the left, we're going to roll back to the right and go back out on the right circle. And we're just going to alternate that until he gets really honest between the reins, until he starts to pay attention to what I do with my hand more than just trying to push him around in a spin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lope him off to the right. Amigo says, no, we're not. Lope him off to the right. I'm going to send him around in a circle. And you can see how Who? So you can see there how I'm really just going to motivate him on the circle. I'm going to send him forward, make him really go someplace. Because what I need to get is more foot speed, and I can't get that foot speed necessarily on an older broke horse just by kicking on them and pushing on them. They're too smart. They know one guy's going to spur on them harder, the next guy's going to spur on them less. The kid's not going to be able to kick as hard. And so they're pretty quick to decide how hard they want to work. But if you develop this ability for them to try so that they really start to learn that when you take that rein across their neck and you cluck, you're going to leave them alone as long as they put the effort in. they start to get really snappy. And then the other thing that comes out of that is when you've turned a horse like that, a good broke horse, they also start to anticipate and they lose their desire to turn because they're waiting for you to shut them off at 4 or at 3.5 or whatever it is. They get smart. They know you're only going to turn a certain amount. And so what this does is it gets them really sharp between the reins because they know they have to turn honest and consistent and smooth, and then you're going to snap them back and roll them out of there. So they're not going to overturn. They're not going to quit early. If you take your hand across, you can leave it to the left. They're going to turn until you bring your hand back to the middle. They're going to shut off right on the money. So I mentioned how they've got to come off of that outside rein. You know, the only way for a horse to really get turned good is for all 3 of the moving legs to travel around that inside hind leg. We always talk about getting set on that inside hind leg. And while in the show pen, there's been a movement away from really getting set on that. I mean, the judges understand that the speed and the aggression that we're spinning with anymore today, the horse has to shuffle around in the back, and they know that. And while that's the case in the show pen, the truth is, if you can still work on those mechanics and really get into that horse and push on it and make sure that all of its body parts are where it needs to be, you are always going to give yourself a better leg up in the show pen, a better chance to do well. So this is another exercise that my buddy Kyle Weston actually helped me with. I took my good 2-year-old a couple of weeks ago to go ride with him. And the horse has got a great turn on him, but I want to make sure the mechanics are perfect. So this is something that I do on my 2-year-olds. This is something that he helped me with. And this is something that'll work really good on your old broke horses because they also get lazy and they kind of lean to the outside. And so when you send them around the turn, a lot of their weight goes against the direction of that spin. And so this is a walking exercise. You can walk or jog them into it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up my inside hand and I'm going to draw back with that outside. And I'm going to drive that horse up to that outside rein a little bit and keep him straight. So my left leg is back and I'm pushing, and I need that left hind leg to step up and push forward. I can use my inside leg there at the girth, but I'm going to drive that horse up a little bit and really make him commit his belly and his rib cage to this left rein. And then when I really feel like he's stepped up there good, I can slide my left leg forward, release my hands, and allow him to turn. And I'm going to leave him alone. No leg, nothing. If he quits, I'm going to get in there again, left rein, left leg, push him up and forward, and make it a little more difficult. You see, he wants to turn now, so I'm going to bump a little on the inside. I'm going to keep him out of that turn. Keep him out of that turn. Make him step up. Now I'm going to release. Slide that leg forward. Let him turn again. And in that exercise, I don't have to turn him hard or fast. I really need him to just know that it's easier for him to spin when I pick up that rein than it is for me to have to put my leg in him and push on him and drive him. So I'm going to really bunch him up and push him up into that turn so that once I release him, again, I'm training outside of the maneuver. You know, instead of kicking that horse around and really chasing on him, I'm trying my best to teach him that the maneuver is actually easier than all the work that we can do outside of the maneuver. So you get to a point with the reiners where you ride them outside the pattern. You ride them outside the maneuvers. You start to think about all the negative space that is around that maneuver, and you try to train on that horse so that when you get back to the maneuver, he has a desire to do that maneuver rather than looking at you like, really, we got to do this again. And that happens in these broke horses. They've done it so many times. They kind of always question you now, you know, do we really have to do this again? Are you really going to motivate me? And so now I'm going to ask him, I'm going to reach back with my left leg. I'm just going to pick up that left rein. So, you see, and that horse stepped right up, kept that shape, went right into that turnaround, and he came off of that outside rein. So I'm hoping that when little Amanda comes to ride this horse next, and she takes outside rein, oh, see, he stopped there. So we're just going to push on him. Again, we're drawing that outside rein back. Doesn't need to leap in the air. He's just got to go up against that outside rein. He's got to stay straight. Once he's good and his foot speed is steady and even, we're going to release him. Let him know if he turns, I'm not going to beat him up. And so what I was saying when he made that mistake is that I really hope when I work on this a little bit with this horse that his little girl Amanda can come out and put her leg on and move her hand, you know, kind of just reach back with that spur real quiet like she does. And I really hope we're going to get that kind of a turnaround. And that I'm really happy with. But you have to realize they've got to get the outside of their face, their rib cage, their shoulder, everything has to get up and around that corner for them to really commit and turn. Otherwise, they start to turn with their head on sideways, or they start to lean on the outside leg, and you feel like you got to pull them around on the inside. And so if you get to here and you get to pulling that horse around on the inside, what you actually need to do is go to that outside and drive that horse up into his face on the outside rein. Once you get them committed, once you get them to come away from that outside rein, you're really going to find the whole horse commits to that turnaround better. What would you like to eat? Well, guys, it's been fun to be back. It's really cool to be back doing training tips. If you guys have any other ideas, I think we will break this turnaround down a little bit. You're probably going to see more. But you know how that is. As it goes, we kind of do what you guys want. So I appreciate that you guys watched that Rider Rainer series. I am very thankful that Amanda allowed me to put her on the spot like that. And no, we didn't fire Amanda. She's still around, and she's now become part of the family, because we have a little joke here. Like a lot of places, you have to work really hard to get your foot in the door. And here, if you happen to put your foot in, we grab you by the ankle and drag you in. So that's just how it goes here. You become part of the family. If you get one shoe in the door, you're like, how did I end up working 3 days a week for Jim? And that's true, right? Lucas is behind the camera, and he's like, yeah, me. How did that happen? So I love it that you guys are back here. I'm excited to be back doing training tips. I mean, my favorite thing is to sit on horses and work on stuff. Like, subscribe. Let me know other things that you want worked on. I'm happy to do it. I mean, if I don't know how to do it, I'll sure make it up for the camera. So you guys are awesome. Talk to you later.